Thank you very much, Madam Chairwoman. It's my honor to introduce a true friend to small business growth in Oregon, and that would be Ms. Chandra Brown. Chandra is currently Vice President of Oregon Iron Works and President of a newly created subsidiary of Oregon Iron Works called United Streetcar. That's the only modern streetcar manufacturer in the United States of America. This is an innovative company that strives to keep manufacturing jobs here in this country. In 2005, Chandra was also appointed to the Oregon Innovation Council by Governor Ted Kulongoski, and in the same year selected as one of Oregon Business Magazine's top 50 business leaders in our state. She's also a founding member in her spare time and vice chair of the Oregon Wave Energy Trust, a nonprofit that promotes wave energy and creates more energy efficient and sustainable jobs in Oregon. Chandra and this company, in my opinion, are a testament to small businesses' ability and willingness to evolve and grow and creating opportunities or taking advantage of opportunities here in our economy, even in the worst of times. In my opinion, she's truly a heroine of small business. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Proceed.
Good morning, Chairwoman Velasquez and Ranking Member Graves, and I would very much thank you for your kind introduction, Congressman Schrader. It's a pleasure to be here representing Oregon Iron Works. I think on this panel I'm representing the big and the old, and I'm not going to be actually reading my testimony. What I'm going to do is share a story with you, and that's about how U.S. manufacturing is absolutely alive and well. So I'm tired of hearing about all this stuff with U.S. manufacturing because this small business is going to tell you some of the good stories and how we are achieving that. I think the best story to start out with really is with United Streetcar. But to give you a little bit of history, what is Oregon Iron Works? The name doesn't really indicate what we do. We were actually founded in 1944. I wasn't around then, but I hear it was an old foxhole in the city of Portland. A couple guys working there during the war, welding and fitting up machinery parts. Basically, in the 70s, we moved from, and it's under current management, bought the company in the 70s, and we moved from the city of Portland to Clackamas County, which is also have a facility in Vancouver, Washington. And basically, in the 70s, we had gone from about 4 or 5 employees to 40 employees. Where are we at now? Again, just kind of compressing history. Now we have almost 400 employees. We do over $100 million annually in revenue. We have just recently formed this wholly owned subsidiary, United Streetcar. Basically, we've had approximately a growth rate of 13% annually since 1984. And we have about 305,000 square feet on almost 38 acres of land. And we are still a small business, and we're very proud of that fact, and we're very grateful. Some of our land purchases were done due to SBA financing, and so credit given back in the 70s even. So we're very grateful for that. What we're doing right now with United Streetcar, we realize that to be alive and well in manufacturing, what must you have? Diversity, innovation, and an incredible workforce. You have to have those 3 criteria, and we've been very blessed to have an incredibly skilled workforce. People don't recognize enough the machinists, the welders, the fitters, that have been trained up in the Northwest. It was due to the shipbuilding industry and the war. We've been able to retain that skilled workforce, which enables us to build the projects that we do. We started out doing hydroelectric work. Then we started building bridges across the United States. Then we went into some defense work. We started building boats, and we've been very successful in some federal appropriations and getting some funding for some special operations boats. From boats, we went into aerospace. We built some space launch complex work down at Vandenberg and Cape Canaveral. But we're always looking to the future. So diversity has been one of the keys why we've had this nice continued growth rate. But diversity means you have to be continually innovating. You must be looking to the future. So what's the next products? We hear about manufacturing going down. Let's talk about where the future is. We believe the future is in things like renewable energy. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know if you can build boats and things that survive a very harsh marine environment, that hopefully we could build wave energy devices. So we have built one of the first wave energy devices, which was off the coast of Oregon. There's several more that we believe are going to be built in the next year or 2. So that's a new market that we think will be emerging in the United States. We think at some point wave could surpass solar as a renewable energy for this country. So we want to be at the cutting edge, and we want those jobs in the United States being done here as we build this new renewable energy. Now, talking about streetcars, I am the president of United Streetcar, a wholly owned subsidiary of Oregon Iron Works, and we're incredibly excited about this because the story of United Streetcar is the story of insourcing jobs. What we have done is taken jobs from the Czech Republic and brought them to the United States. We formed an agreement with Skoda. It's our Czech partner, so we have the license to manufacture, exclusive license to manufacture modern streetcars throughout the United States. There's over 64 cities looking at streetcars right now across the United States. It's fantastic, not only as a model of transport, but it's green jobs and it's an economic development model for our urban centers. It's an incredible success story in Portland, so we're very, very proud. We recently are awarded a contract to build a production run of 6 cars for the city of Portland, and we currently have finished our prototype car, which is under testing right now, and hopefully this summer it will be given to the city and the public will be riding on the first modern streetcar built in the United States in 58 years. So it's something that we're, thank you, it's something that we're incredibly proud of and incredibly happy. But how did it start? It started with the upper management of our company knowing how incredibly skilled our workers are that we could do it. You know, I basically heard that there were no streetcars built in the United States except for old and historic trolleys, which are wonderful, but that's not a modern transportation option. So when we heard that, I said, well, my company can build it. We build boats, we build bridges, we build lots of different things. Of course we could build a streetcar. And then it's making that work. And there was a federal appropriation involved for this prototype streetcar, thanks to our delegation, which did a great job. And that started us down this path. And now we believe this could be another $100 million business unit that could be spun out of this company building green transit projects here in the United States. Because right now, even Portland's cars were all imported from Europe. So at least we're giving that option. And that's where we would like to say in terms of issues, one, we are incredibly supportive of the Buy America Act and all that everyone has done with that. We think that's critical to U.S. manufacturing. We appreciate that. The one issue we do see coming down the pipeline is related to bonding. We talk about the credit issues. All streetcars will have to be bonded. And while we have a bonding capacity of over $100 million that we can bond, with this decrease in AIG and the security companies' willingness and ability to give the bonds out, as well as our increasing growth, we don't ever want to turn work away because we can't get a bond. And it wouldn't be because we couldn't, it's because we've passed our capacity. We have too much work bonded because right now more work needs bonding because of the higher risk cities don't want to take on. So we worry a little bit about that and would wonder how the federal government could potentially help with backing that up, for bonding. We just, as I said, we just don't want to turn work away once we hit our bonding cap, which luckily we're not there yet. In addition, there's issues with incremental funding, which we would love to see something for small projects, not these huge, large projects, but things that are, maybe under $30 million, where they're not incrementally funding the Corps of Engineers, so we have to wait each year to see if they'll have enough money to build the whole hydroelectric project, which causes delays and much greater cost. So again, in the interest of the taxpayers, we think small projects, if they can be fully funded from the start, will have much greater benefit across the line.
Time has expired, Ms. Brown.